Hello everyone, it's Jamal Thomas. Welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. Guys, I hope you can hear me okay. I'm trying to do this with my audio. This is going to be a man on the street episode because the place that we're staying is effectively a phone booth masquerading as a hotel. If I was but it's two people in the room. And my wife at this point has some kind of sinus thing going on, or a cold. I am using all the intention in the world and hope that's not a cold. So let's do this walking. What I want to say, I don't necessarily need to be at the computer. Stacey Abrams has refused to concede. Stacey Abrams should continue to refuse to concede because Stacey Abrams is being robbed. The guy who was essentially Secretary of State in the election, while simultaneously essentially being over top of controlling the election, that guy decides that he's not going to step down. In addition to deciding he doesn't want to step down, they are also using voter suppression tactics, such as certain parts had broken machines. There were other places where there were insanely long lines, closing polling locations, refusing to essentially process the number of people who were supposed to be at the locations themselves. Georgia was a fuck fest. The people that were throwing off the voter rolls, upwards of 300,000, Greg Palast found, many of those were predominantly African American, or let's say Democratic demographics. And even still, you're in like a hair's width of that election. It's nonsense. They're stealing an election. I gotta be honest. Where is the Democratic Party on this? Like, this goes back to George W. Bush, where Al Gore stands in Congress and gavels down everybody else who's trying to essentially bitch and complain and protest what was taking place with that election, shenanigans that was taking place in Florida. And here we have it now, a similar situation where it gets to the point a governorship is being outright stolen. The media should in no way accept this as a legitimate race. And by accepting this as a legitimate race, you essentially bastardize any process or any understanding of the term democratic representative government. They're being cheated. Understand what is a complete undermining of democracy. If the system needs to be burned down in order to make that point, then the system needs to be burned down to make that point, because you don't have a system in place that is actually making the point that this isn't cheating. I mean, for fuck's sake. I mean, this isn't the open. It is a flat fact that they got rid of hundreds of thousands of ballots. It is a flat fact they were using a tactic where they would say a person doesn't live here anymore, so we can scrub that person off the ballot when the person in fact lived there. You can prove that the person lived there. Greg Palast was proving that the person lived there. You had to sue the governor to stop him. And the guy who was overseeing the election has declared himself the victor and is proceeding with the transition process. This should not be accepted. It shouldn't be accepted in Florida. It shouldn't have been accepted when George W. Bush was doing it. It shouldn't have been accepted when Bush v. Kerry. It should not be accepted. Stacey Abrams should not concede. Democrats often they're skittish about saying something about the electoral process. Hillary Clinton, they screamed Russia at the top of their lungs. Russia, Russia, Russia did this, Russia did that. It was the Republican Party that hated you. You can go look at the various states where she lost. The amount and the degree of the vote corresponded. In fact, it were more people that were thrown off the rolls than the margin of victory, many of those people being in Democratic constituencies. It's not the goddamn Russians. I keep saying it. It's not the goddamn Russians. The other party is doing it. The Democratic Party doesn't want to make that point. The media doesn't want to make that point. Because if you make that point, the veneer that is the epitome of the American democracy itself falls away. It's not falling away, it's already gone. Brian Kemp stole or stealing that election outright. Full stop. In no way should Stacey Abrams concede. In no way should the Democratic Party legitimize this particular vote. In no way should the media legitimize this particular vote. They should call it what it is. He is stealing the election. They need to take him to court if that's the least that they can do. And if they can't take him to court, the legitimacy of this needs to be... Look, I don't know her actions here. Clearly this is going to go to court. But we need to call it what it is. He's just stolen, or is attempting to steal an election. And in no way should he be considered legitimate in this process. I hope you all are doing okay. I'm going to keep this one short. There's not much to say about this. I mean, I'm not, this aggravates me because this is a Democratic, supposedly, government. Supposedly a representative government. Oh, fuck. For fuck's sake. Supposedly a representative government. Can't be a representative government if you run in a race and the guy uses all the shenanigans in the world to make sure he wins that race. Call it what it is. It's cheating. Paul DeMelto, Jamal, I support you. Oh, thank you, Paul. I'm going to keep it short. It's midday here, so, but I know it's morning in the States, so I hope you all have a great day. I'll see you guys probably in a few. I'm going to have a few of these Man on the Street episodes. I'm going to get away from the sound. That's what I'm going to do. They're making a lot of goddamn noise. All right, guys. Gillum did concede, but that's a separate thing. That one is weird in and of itself. So I will see you guys in a few. Thanks all.